Every cloud has a silver lining. One day, a ship sailing in the ocean met with an accident and sank. Only one man survived. The waves carried him to a small, deserted island. In the first few days, he prayed to God to rescue him and looked out over the horizon for help. But no one came. Later, to protect himself from the wind, rain, and wild animals, he built a hut from tree branches and leaves. He placed the items he salvaged from the ship, like canned food and a compass, in the hut. His days passed the same way, fishing, cooking, and watching the horizon. He kept praying to God. One day, he went out to fetch fresh water. When he returned, he saw that his hut, which he had painstakingly built and which was his only refuge, was burning to the ground. It was the worst thing that could have happened. He was paralyzed with grief and anger. Now, he didn't even have a shelter on this deserted island. In his sorrow, he cried out, "God, how could you do this to me?" He spent that night in anguish and sorrow. Despite all his prayers, he was filled with resentment towards God for allowing this to happen. The next morning, he woke up to the sound of a ship approaching the island. They were coming to rescue him. "How did you know I was here?" the exhausted man asked his rescuers. The answer both surprised and humbled him. "We saw your smoke signal." Did this story remind you of these verses and sayings? You may dislike something which is good for you and like something which is bad for you. God knows, and you do not know. God will answer your prayers. Don't be impatient if your prayer isn't immediately answered. Ask God for more, because you are asking from the most generous. Hadith.